And you know what that's done for me? It's increased my confidence that, yes, Cass, you can grow things. I had a lot of reservations for sure, but switching to vertical gardening this past summer was undoubtedly the best decision. And has been the solution to a number of walls that I was hitting as a small space gardener. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Hi friends, it's Cassandra from the blog becomingafarmgirl.com, where I show you how to live a farm fresh life without land or livestock. And today we're going to talk about why vertical gardens are probably a better option than containers for those of us that are growing on decks, patios, or with limited land. Now I'm gonna get ready to turn you around in a bit, but up until this past summer, I was 100% a container gardener, and I've grown in everything from buckets to cloth bags. But moving forward, I want to share why I'll be moving away from them. So if you're on the fence about this whole vertical gardening thing, stay posted because I'm going to share 6 reasons why you've got to try vertical gardening, along with 1 regret. The first reason vertical gardens are better than containers is that they are the unbeatable solution to maximizing your grow space. Because if you're like me and you want to grow all the things, but you also have to reconcile that you're in a really tight space. It is only a matter of time before you look around and you don't have space to put another container or pot. So instead of growing out, when you start to grow up, you've essentially created land out of thin air. Now, the vertical garden that I chose was the Green Stalk, which is the most affordable and durable option on the market so far. I really try to scaffold when I can harvest things so that something is always growing. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you a few pictures of what my Green Stalk is looking like here at the end of August. The second reason I think that vertical gardens are a better option than containers is that, and it's something that isn't, I think, really obvious, but if you have a large collection of containers, it's way more maintenance than you think. Now, large for me was roughly 40 containers. So let's say that you're growing in plastic containers. Most plastic containers need drainage holes, and then you've also got to consider that plastic pots can become heavy and cumbersome to move as your plant grows and temperature and light requirements change, and so you're moving them around trying to get the right amount of light or sun exposure. Then there are clay pots, which look amazing, but require more frequent watering than plastic. But I get it, plastic is cheaper, but it's also not biodegradable. So then you have cloth bags, which do provide excellent aeration and are environmentally friendly, but cloth bags are extremely porous, so they require even more frequent watering and will need replacing every few years. Now, I'm obviously saying all of this in retrospect because a few years ago when I started gardening and I wasn't sure whether or not this would be a hobby, I felt like purchasing a vertical garden would be too much of a financial commitment. But once I got to around 20 to 25 containers that I had a combination of both thrifted and purchased, I realized that it would have been cheaper for me from the start if I would have gone with a Green Stalk. I really enjoy this planter because it comes with a movable base and a drainage spout. Now sure, you could put each pot on a wheel base, but for one pot, that would get expensive quick. The wheel bases are important because pots that sit directly on your deck or concrete will leave stains, and power washing stubborn pot stains, even with weekly rinses and moving my containers, which is a chore, is inevitable. Now that I use a Green Stalk, I've eliminated that problem. Now, I fit gardening in a few minutes in the evenings during the week and a bit more on the weekends, so having an efficient routine is important to me. With your Green Stalk, if you take just a few minutes to strategically think how you'll plant your sun-loving versus shade-loving crops, your tall and short plants, your faster and slower growing crops, you can create an extremely efficient gardening routine. And the best thing about this is that you can grow more without increasing the amount of time that you have to spend in your garden for upkeep. I'll go ahead and link the video showing how easy it is to set up this no tools required garden. And if the time is right for you, be sure to pair your purchase with a $10 off coupon by using the code BAFarmGirl. The third reason vertical gardens are better than containers is that they're better for you. Physically your body. Now, while I do enjoy the physical component of gardening, earlier this spring I had a knee injury, and so I just couldn't do as much lifting and shifting. But with a vertical garden, you're standing in just one spot to both water and fertilize your garden, and even when you go into harvest, you're only shifting just a few steps. Vertical gardens are also great because they're an ideal option for someone else that doesn't have a lot of garden know-how to take care of your garden if, for say, you have to be out of town. Now, this is exactly what happened to me this summer when I left out of town for about 10 days and I had someone that wanted to help but wasn't the least bit interested or had any kind of background knowledge with gardening. She felt really confident once I showed her that, yes, it's as simple as standing in one spot to water and fertilize the garden. The fourth reason vertical gardens are great is that they add a visual component of beauty, and vertical structures increase air circulation and decrease pests and disease, and can quickly be covered with one large shade or frost protection cloth. It doesn't get any easier. And if you're concerned about strength or durability, both of my Green Stalks survived hurricane winds while my tall and lean planter completely collapsed. Now, if you have a small growing space, it's likely that you probably have a small home too. Now, I'm in a townhouse and even our basement storage is limited. Now, as I'm preparing to switch from my end of summer garden to my fall garden, it's going to be so easy to just pop off a couple of stacks from my Green Stalk, go ahead and plant my seeds, bring them inside and allow them to grow underneath fluorescent grow lights, and when the weather is cool enough, bring them back outside. I'm going to be repeating the same for my spring garden, and so I can really see how my Green Stalk is giving me multiple options, not only to start my seeds, but then to grow them, because while it builds to a permanent structure, it can also come apart in pieces, which just gives you lots of different options for use. Before I get to my regret, I want to share my sixth reason for why I think vertical gardens are excellent options for small space growers. As a homestead dreamer, there is nothing more I enjoy more than consuming books and podcasts and videos that give me ideas on visualizing what even a small farm space will look like for me. But along with that, you have to manage the tension between what your reality is. And this is important to note because for me, I have a good sized deck that gets plenty of sun, and then I have a lower area with a slither of land that's extremely shady. But for the longest time, vertical gardening just didn't excite me. But when the gardening bug hit and I wanted to grow even more, that's when I seriously gave researching vertical gardening a try. And the science behind vertical gardening is there. Not only will you have healthier plants, increased crop production, and less pest pressure, but y'all, I saw it. I was able to quadruple what I'm able to grow and harvest just by growing vertically. And you know what that's done for me? It's increased my confidence that, yes, Cass, you can grow things, even in a small space. And that is just the best feeling. And it is the motivator and the success and the encouragement that you can see and feel and hold in your hands to give you confidence along your journey as a farmer. All right, so what was my regret when it comes to vertical gardening? I wanted to share this because you may be in the same boat too. Now, I purchased both of my green stalks last year. One, I believe, in December when they were having a sale, and another one in maybe early February. And so I paired the sale with someone's $10 off coupon code. And so my total price with free shipping, and I also got the mover bases, which are just amazing. Definitely get the mover bases if you're in a small space. That's what allows you to kind of pivot and rotate your stackable planters. But the total came to $150 each. When you really start to hack out the math in terms of if I get 30 separate size containers versus a green stalk, the green stalk is going to come out significantly cheaper. But the total investment for this summer was $300 for 2 of my green stalks. And it was something that I had anticipated doing for this upcoming season. With that being said, the one regret that I have is that I didn't get the plant support kind of attachments that come with the green stalk. And this was kind of regrettable because I was growing lots of long-stemmed fruits and vegetables like peppers. I had tons of peppers this year, and tomatoes, and eggplant. And so even though my vines came out super thick and healthy, I also grew lots of cucumbers. I mean, things were just kind of, it wasn't ideal because my plants did not have support. I did know this going in, but honestly, y'all, it just wasn't in my budget for this year. 3 of the plant support structures are $60. They come in a set. So it would have been an extra $120. I think they're $60 if you catch them on sale. If they're not with the sale, then maybe they're like $10 or $15 more. But it would have been at the sale price. I would have waited for a sale for sure, an extra $120. And I couldn't make that purchase this year. It is something that as we go into the fall and winter that I will be buying for my 2 existing green stalks. And if it makes sense for me, I do want to get the leaf stalk, which I think will be great as a starter for my spring and fall plants. The leaf planter just has shorter sized pockets, and they're great for things like growing your herbs and leafy green vegetables. So that is the one regret that I have. Figuring out your growing space takes time, whether you're in a small space or if you have tons of land. And after 5 years of gardening, I feel really great about this next move, having tried a number of things, that now I have something that will be set and sustainable for years to come. So my advice to you would be this: if you currently have containers, keep growing in them. But if you want to expand your garden, I think it will be best to hold off and save your money and definitely try out a vertical planter. To get more small space gardening inspiration, natural living, and canning recipes, join me here weekly. I'll see you in my kitchen or garden soon. Take care.